All right, Reds, we are live and we are definitely going to be getting into some hot topics today. Certainly, since yesterday was a little bit of a fallout, crash out performance, some would say, at the Molyneux. But we are going to talk about it a little bit more. We're going to also talk about some of the different perspectives that are being said online by pundits, by content creators, even by our own brethren, the brethren that I call my own. And we will definitely get into a lot of this conversation. Yes. We will discuss the possibility of whether he will or whether or not. I unfortunately don't think that he will go at this moment. I don't know. I should say unfortunately, but I will say this, that I don't believe that he is going to. But we'll talk about it. We'll hear what you have to say. We'll do our best to keep it, relatively, civil, and no ball frauds or harsh words. Too harsh words. Just constructive criticism as best as we can do it. I know that might turn some off, but all the same, that's how we try to do it best, is have a real honest conversation. Sometimes it's not easy to do, but we do our best to try to conduct one. So shout out to everyone joining us. We got a bunch of people already joining us from the very gate. I'm sure people are ready to hear someone wild out, but. Let's get into we got Lee with us today, and we might have some others joining us. Might have Fozzie joining us, and might have JK joining us. Nalante, I don't believe will be available, but still, Nalante is joining us in spirit. So shout out to Lee holding it down. My partner in crime here. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Disappointed, obviously, again, like last night, but in good spirits anyway. Good spirits. Hopefully, hopefully we can get the show back on the road quickly.
Yeah. I just like. All right. I'm almost like lost as to where we should start. Because I did see some comments by our coach that kind of got me rattled a little bit. I was just on Quasi Bold's show earlier. Shout out to Quasi Bold TV, by the way. And I was on with Fozzie. Sabiri was on. So was JK. And we got into a conversation about a few different things. And it was tough. I was sitting there. I was like, I'm not trying to go on here and be on like a slot defender. I'm not trying to be on some slot in or slot out. I'm just trying to make sure that when we're going to have the conversation, that we're honest with it, and we discuss both sides of the conversation, and try to not create some echo chamber and this. This person's crap, something along the lines of, let's have a conversation about it. Let's bring in statistics, let's bring in the eye test, let's bring in your own personal opinions, and the likes. So it is what it is. But again, I guess before we even start, then how about this? Before I even start, let's just discuss one thing. I did see a comment that I had to respond to. I was discussing it with Lee earlier. This isn't a part of what we had initially on the run of show, but it was something that really kind of stuck in my craw. The quote was this: Slot says, "I am proud of the lads. We controlled the match. Wolves had 0 touches in opposition box for 80 minutes. This is tough. He means he didn't say A, but this is tough away ground where Arsenal didn't win. Klopp lost 3-0 here 3 years ago. So to lose 2-1 was unlucky, but still an improvement." I'm going to say this with all due respect, because we're going to get into it. We're really going to get into this. I don't want to see Jurgen Klopp have to do a Will Smith to Arne Slot. Like, like Why does Arne Slot have to use Jurgen Klopp's name every time there's a trouble, this or that? He used it before when he said, "Oh, what was the exact quote? Do you remember? Do you remember the other slight where he was like, "Oh, we haven't won it we haven't won it in 30 some odd years, but now but I won it. He won it in his first year." Like he said something else about Jurgen Klopp too. That was like a slight, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sure someone out in the chat might remember what he said about it. Said by throwing Jurgen Klopp under the bus, but like, why did you bring up that we lost 3-0 to a Wolves team at their grounds 3 years ago? 3 years ago, we ended up in third place, and Wolves were 13th. They were in the middle of the pack of the Premier League, not at the bottom of the table. Why do you have to do that, man? Like, I'm with you on it. I was with you on like the beginning of your statement. I was okay with. I'm cool with it. I'm proud of our team and this and that. Cool, you're trying to support the team. I'm down with that. But to throw Klopp under the bus is harsh, man. This is a guy that didn't have to do what he did, but he was quick to say to get the fans behind you. He was quick to try to make fans stand with you by singing the Arne Slot la 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 on his day. It was his day. It's his final day as the gaffer of this team. And here is this guy trying to hand the torch to you to be our gaffer. I do not like the shade that this guy brings. He says some real out-of-pocket comments sometimes to remind people to put respect on his name. And we get that. There are people that are going way out of bounds with the disrespect and the disgusting and sometimes over the line comments and the sort. But man, that got under my skin when I was just like, why are you bringing Jurgen Klopp into this conversation? I'll let Lee. Do you agree with me, or am I?
No, I was surprised. Like, I was quite surprised that he actually said all that. There were a few parts of it like that. Grasping at straws would be a way to describe it. Like, but like I said before, you do understand because it's a very stressful job. And remember Arteta last season when it went pear-shaped and he got them injuries and he fell off. He started rambling towards the end of the season and like comparing us when we played someone and them when they played someone like 4 years ago or something. And I was like, what's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, what's that got to do with anything that we're talking about?
Yeah. But it twists the guys' minds, doesn't it? Like, I think some managers are more susceptible to it than others, to cracking and saying weird stuff. It's just part of their personality. But yeah, he's had a bit of a moment there, Arne, hasn't he? He's had a bit of a moment there.
Yeah. He has been. He has. And I really, really don't understand why he had to do that, to be honest with you. I don't understand it at all. Maybe someone in the chat has a better understanding or reasoning. I know myself that I was on Quasi's show because I got triggered by, and hopefully we might even have have him be able to, verbalize his own opinions for why he used those words. And Quasi actually second him when he said the things. I personally don't think that Arne Slot is a dumb person. I don't. I don't think that. I know that Zubiri later got on the show and said that, dismissed this next statement that I'm about to say, but I personally don't think that Arne Slot is a dumb person. I think he's a very intelligent young, I would say young man, very intelligent man. I think that he is unfortunately stubborn though. Now, some might relate that to being dumb or stupid, or that could be related to being, oh, you're being dumb because you're being stubborn. But I honestly think that Arne Slot is stubborn, not dumb. He is stubborn. And I think that my comment that the two comments that I made that got pushed back in the show, or in the earlier show today, was that I said Arne Slot is stubborn, but he is also not dumb, because I don't believe you win the Premier League if you're a dumb coach.
No,
If you're
of
an
course
idiot.
not. He's a little bit out of his depth, I think. That's what it is. Last season went perfectly for him, but this season he's floundering, isn't he? And it's painful to watch, like, that he doesn't appear to have the answers. But I don't know. We just gotta. What's the word? Re something or other. Get our shit back together, because quickly we've got the Champions League, haven't we, coming up? We can't go into the Champions League off the back of 2 defeats against the bottom side. Whatever anyone thinks about the number of games we're playing, or the number of games we might play if we stay in the FA Cup as well, we've got to win that game. We can't go to Istanbul, can we, off the back of losing twice to the bottom side? And again, they are the bottom side. I know they're in a better bit of form now, and they're looking a little bit better, but they're the bottom side, and it really damaged morale and confidence, I think, if we were to lose twice to these.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Big up to those in the chat, by the way. Red Armchair Supporter. Big up to Eric as well, joining us. Good to see you. Good to see you. Again, this is not echo chamber. You can all have different opinions. You can all have different, stances on whatever it is that we're talking about. Shout out to Cedric. Big up, big up. Big up, Cedric. He's saying, saw you earlier. I agree with you. Arne Slot isn't stupid, but stubborn, and the players are playing a system they hate. I agree with that, to be honest with you. I agree with that. I think that the system that Klopp created for us was a system that players bought into. And this year, we've had a system change. I got into it. We're going to get into a lot of the segments I have already preloaded for us. But and again, I should, if I can, if Zubiri's free, he's more than welcome to join as well. I know he's a busy man. He's a working man and everything, so he's always busy. But I just remember Zubiri and I got to a back and forth, but we also had a common ground as well. And why I'm bringing up that is because when we were talking, we got into a conversation, and I'm going to get into this before we even get into the conversation of a lot of what we've been talking, or a lot of the main portions of what you saw in the thumbnail and the likes, because I did want to include this as well into our conversation. But there was speak of players, and this player in particular was spoken on. Now, I know some people have never been big Macca fans. Some people have, and aren't as any longer. I just realized too, That is pretty cool what the Adidas did on the kits. Have you seen that? Have you seen this kit? I just realized that they have Forever 20 on
Oh
there.
no, I didn't get onto that. It's a bit small for me to have noticed it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice one, that,
Let me
isn't
see
it?
if I can get this. Let me see if I can make the image small, bigger. See how it says
Mm,
Forever 20? That's cool. That's really, really cool.
yeah, it's nice,
That's
that, isn't
really,
it?
really cool. This is obviously the new kits, the new warm up um, kits they have.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
quite nice, then.
yeah.
That's all right. That. Not sure about them pink bits on it though. Without
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah. I know about that. But I guess, you know what, maybe that's them trying to, I don't think they're pink. I think they're red
uh
ish. Maybe they're coming off as being pink ish in
It's
this
because it's
shot.
green down the centre, that stripe, and then it's the reddish with left.
I think
It's
maybe they had,
not good colour
yeah,
coordination, I would say, which will probably
yeah. I
stop me
mean,
buying one. I have to admit.
yeah, I think they had to throw red in there somewhere, or they figured maybe it was just it was to make it recognizable to be Liverpool related. But um, but what I was going to get into, we got a latte in the house. Oh wow,
Hey,
unexpected
you know, mate.
treat here. Big up, Nalante. How are you? If you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can. Yeah, big up yourself, Toff. Big up, Scousely, Scousely,
Hi, mate.
Scousely in the building. You're right, Lee. Yeah,
Yes.
big up, man. Big up the chat as always. Big up everyone in the chat watching. On X,
We're
Twitter.
oh sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you. I was going to say quickly. We were just to update you as to what we were talking about. We got into a comment that Arnie made earlier, which is really I don't understand why he made the comment. I don't know. I could repeat the comment too, but we're also into this Maca topic too, because on Quasi's show, one of the more lively exchanges that we had on the show was over whether Maca is if Maca's what does he do basically is what I think they're stating it as, and and what is his worth to this team, or something along those lines. And I am a Maca fan, obviously, and I know that would be considered to be biased, but I have been openly critical of Maca. In the beginning of this season, I have said time and time again that Maca, from the groin injury, has not been able to pick up rhythm and form until recently. I think the last 5 games, I think, have been more on the lines, on the tune of what you see and expect out of Maca. That's at least my perspective. He's had a game or two here throughout the season where you're like, oh, hopefully this is the game that he bounces back from, and then maybe you see another game where he kind of falls off a little bit. But
Yeah,
lately,
I agree there. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. He's looked a bit better lately. He's looked more like himself lately, but it's took so long, and he's been one of the big misses this season.
right?
Even when he got back, to play, and it just wasn't him, was it? And so it was like we didn't have him, even though he was on the pitch. You know what I mean? It was at
Right.
that reduced level that we were expecting from him. And I do like him. Yeah, I've always liked him. I think he's a good little player, scores good goals. He's got good plays, good 1-2s, and all that bollocks. Like he likes to tackle. He puts his body on the line. And the main thing with him is he's just like he's very one-paced. He's very slow. He's only a little guy with small legs, and he can't cover the ground that quickly. That's his one Achilles heel. Like in probably a couple of years earlier, it mightn't have been as big a deal. But now with the way the Prem gone, you look at the other midfields and the size of the guys and that, you wonder about his future. Like, has he got one in our midfield if we're going to be all we can be in the future?
It's look. I've been saying it time and time again. If it was one or two players that have been poor or been this or been that, that'd be one thing, you know. But if the team overall or collectively have seemingly fallen off a cliff in the sense of the performance levels this season compared to last season, then you have to say something has changed, and there's bigger things than just pointing out one player's performance or pointing out individuals' performances as being reasons for this or for that for our bad run. Structurally speaking, when it comes to Maka and his participation with this team, I've said it again. The season was a tough start for him, but I believe that Maka is starting to pick up a little bit of pace and a little bit of form as of late. I do connect Maka with Grav to be very interlocked in this system, at least in a 4-2-3-1, considering they play the pivot together. Them being in good form together help each other perform better than others. But I will even go even further to my analysis of why I think Maka shouldn't be part of Scapegoat FC. And that is because Maka this season, and especially just as of late, Maka this season isn't like, as in the pushback that Zabiri was saying was, well, how many tackles does Maka have? How many tackles does Maka have? You know, he's got more games than he has tackles and the likes, right? And I'd have to double check on how many he has. I couldn't do that for us as we speak. But what was unique about the conversation is, did any of us expect Maka to be some a DM destroyer for us? Was that supposed to be Maka's role for this team?
Oh, I don't like him in the DM. Like when we had him in the DM under Jürgen at times for a bit, like it was apparent really quickly to me that it's not something because he's too so slow on the, you know, like when players just breeze past him, like, you know, taller, like faster players, more athletic, straight past him and that. And he's a good little competitor. He can tackle well and get stuck in it. You know, he knows how to tackle and shit, like, but he's just very slow and a small guy. Like, he's not a DM in any way, shape, or form. It's the last position in midfield I would put him in. You know, given like the option of like 4 different places in the midfield where you could put him on. DM would be the last one I'd put him.
And don't get it twisted. He has played DM before, and he's performed well. The reason why we went for him is initially because of, you know, his performances next to a DM that we would like to possibly bring to Liverpool as well in Baleba, right? So it's not like he hasn't performed well in the DM role. But then again, it's interesting because like the pushback I was getting for saying that Maka maybe has turned the corner. Maybe we can see the Maka that we saw last season, which some people said Maka was our best midfielder in the team last season. And that's where I'm like confused as to the conversation this season and not showing the proper context behind it, in that Grav and Maka's performance levels interact between each other. They help bring up or lower each other's performances in general by the fact that they got to cover or they got to do things that you don't necessarily want to see have to happen.
For me, like Ryan was the standout midfield performer last season when you look at it as a whole, and that was the thing that Arnie done. One of the main changes he made was to do that, was to put Ryan in. But Mac was brilliant as well last season when we won the league. Like, don't think he had many injuries, played all the way through, and he was at a top level. I thought like Dom got overlooked a bit in that conversation last season. You had the 3 of them as a midfield 3 last season when we won the league at a canter. I thought they all played well, but like Mac and Ryan got more of the applause. Specifically Ryan, I would say. Like, but Mac was brilliant last season, yeah. And you know, there's no way I would have thought in the summer, you know, about considering not having him in the team or, you know, buying someone else and selling them. But now I'm not so sure. I don't know what his future is for us. It's like, look, if we bought a DM, a good DM, like, and then we moved Grammich one forward, and then we had Wirtz. Well, we still got Mac as an option, haven't we? We'd have Mac and Sabo still as options. Like, you know, I want us to have like a strong midfield bench, you know, where we can bring experienced midfielders off the bench to try and change games, because that's what we haven't got this season. There's bugger all we can do to change it in midfield, hardly, is there? In terms of like, you know, Jones comes on for one of them. Does anything really change? No. I would like a few more options on the bench next season.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that too. And Macca's not the only. I think that something that Nalante's spoken on before, and something that he's spoken on for a number of players. But I think I think Grav needs to be rotated. I think Grav needs rest. I think he needs to be rotated with an option. Unfortunately, this coach has waited too long to implement that option, and it could have been rotating in Endo, but that option is no longer available. So now, and we don't have a Bashetic or something like that we could do, and now we're forced to maybe, if anything, utilize Trey Neone as a possible player in that role. And some might be like, you know, that's a little bit too much to put on the young man's shoulders. Or maybe some are bullish on it. I'm not certain, but all the same, I was just getting at that. I think McAllister is getting kind of a bum rap right now. Okay. Simply because I think his performance has started to pick up, and he's playing well enough to not be looked at as being like still in that scapegoat FC. But yet people are still putting him in at that scapegoat FC. McAllister's never been a pace merchant, never been a speedster. So, you know, that's not an awakening to say, oh, you know, his pace has fallen off, or he's never been that person.
In other eras in the Premier League, it wasn't as important, like, to be a speedster in midfield or have big physique, like, in presence, but it's become more important in the modern day Premier League. And you just won't, like, say, I mean, if Xabi came in and has a different idea of how he wanted the midfield to run, he could definitely, you know, we could see like Mac rejuvenated in a different setup, like in a different system under Xabi. That much I will say. It's just at the moment under Slot in this this season, yeah, he's been well off the boil. Started injured, didn't have a pre-season. You know, we missed him for the first month or something, was it? And then he come back, but he was way off being fit, wasn't he? Come on, a sub a couple of times and looked ineffective. Started a couple of times and looked all at sea. And it took him ages to get up to any type of level this season. Like, I know.
And to piggyback off what you're saying too, Lee. And then I would definitely want to get since Alante's bringing up stuff from the chat. I wanted to make sure that one of the things I said, and one of the points I was trying to bring up about McAllister, is that this season McAllister is a part of a different midfield. Now, I'm not saying that other component of the midfield isn't something that I wanted to see, or I'm happy to have a part of our midfield. I'm over the moon having Florian Wirtz as our 10. But we can all be honest and recognize that Florian Wirtz in our 10 is a different player profile than Dominic Szoboszlai in our 10. Plain and simple. Work rate, defensive abilities, the things that they bring to the table, for the most part, are definitely different. They have some comparable stats or comparable traits, but for the most part, what you got out of Dominic Szoboszlai last season, you're not getting out of Wirtz this season, nor would you want it to be so. And that midfield that was regarded as the best midfield, or one of the best midfields in the Premier League last season, now has a different component in the 10. So you have to either tinker what you do with your pivot, or if you continue to play them the same way you did last season, why would you not expect some type of fall off or difference in performance?
Well, this is it, isn't it? I thought it'd be a good. I thought it'd probably work. Be a good three, like replacing Sobo with Wirtz, and the pivot being Ryan and Matt. But it's looked. It hasn't looked great at times. Like there hasn't been teams been able to get play through us quite easy, like and out muscle us and that. At times this season.
I
That's
think he
often
went the wrong direction with it. I've been vocal about that too. I think he went the wrong direction with the way that the man management that he did. If you're going to have it, I would have had McAllister and I would have had McAllister and Wirtz in at that 10 role. And then if you want to bring out a pivot, you have Grav and you have Dom in the pivot. Two athletic, two capable players that can defend, can intercept, can be press resistant, can be able to carry the ball forward. You have those two in your pivot. And then what you could do is then to bring some type of rotation into it. Occasionally you rotate Endo into it because you're not losing any athleticism by rotating Endo in for one or the other. If you have Dom and Endo, fine. If you have Grav and Endo, fine. You at least have Endo as an anchor, and you can utilize Grav or Dom going forward or roaming a little bit more than in that other pivot role. That could have been that's at least what I would have done. That's what when I play my football manager, that's what I do with that. When I'm in the 4-2-3-1, at least I don't play a 4-2-3-1. I play a 4-4-2. But that's something. But that's something we could have done, but that we didn't. And now that we're hand tied to having Maka and Grav in this role, it changes the dynamics of what we have in our midfield. Because Dominic Szoboszlai playing 10 is a different player role than when you have Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz is such a dynamic player that you want to find a way to get him on the pitch, regardless of where it has to be on the pitch. So we're going to get into this slot talk. I know that's the thumbnail. Okay, everyone will have their opportunities to take their shots and or maybe even stand up for the coach if you want to do that, whatever it is. But I just wanted to deal with something that was on the show earlier that we're dealing with in the conversation with Mac about Maka. I don't think Mac is the problem. I don't think Mac is the problem. Maka is a talented player. Very, very talented player. Talented enough to play alongside possibly one of the greatest players of all time in Messi. There's a reason for that.
Was war das?
Smeggy.
I thought someone was just so happy about my Maka comment for a second, but all right.
Okay. At least we got the crew together on this Sunday.
Oh, Smokey's on the cards, is he? Because you've made the food. Has he got his little bag and face on? Feed me, Dad.
Lala, he had some lamb and that. He's good as that we lost yesterday. He was like, JK, what's happening, man? You know what I mean?
He's a sensible dog. Like he's feeling it like the rest of us.
Maybe
Yeah, I'm
Smokey's
telling you the truth. He's got more energy than our midfield.
Yeah.
Let's be real now. Urgency, man. There you go.
Big up, JK.
Big up Nante 12 Lee.
Yeah, the chat is saying you need to have Red Arm Support says you need to have lots of quick players all around Mac. I don't mind that at all, or maybe if you are, you put him further up in an 8 role and you get him involved that way by having a proper DM behind him. But this coach doesn't believe in that philosophy really. Or at least not so much that he's going to implement it. Cedric says at least Endo gets stuck in. Sometimes others look frightened by their players, and I agree with that too. I think that Endo is not scared of a tackle. He is not scared of a tackle, and Despite not being the fastest player on the pitch, he will put in a challenge. Slot is 100%. Umar is saying Slot is 100% to blame as this is still a juicy Liverpool team. I think it's a very, very capable team. Absolutely agree. It's a very
it's a top team. That's what it hurts. I'm blessed up, Umar. Eric, Cedric, Red Armchair, set pieces, bro.
The set pieces is a wild thing too, by the way. There, I don't know if I have that. Maybe I could find it because there was a. I don't know if I have it here any longer, but there was this set piece statistic that was pretty wild, and set pieces have been saving us lately. To tell you the truth, our set pieces have been the reason why we've been able to get a winning streak the way we have. To be honest with you, it hasn't been on our
Yeah, I
open
think
play.
we scored 4 goals in a row, 5 or
Yeah.
something, set piece wise.
Yeah.
So we've improved on that. At least like Slot's been talking about set piece. This is sort of worked on it and got us some. We're getting goals like that. But for me, that's because Szoboszlai and Salah have been crossing much better. But against Wolves, their crossing was bad at corners. Our corners were poor against Wolves. Normally they were good. 3, 4, 5 games, all our corners spot on in the danger zone. But against Wolves, none of our corners were coming off.
I just wanted to get that in. I don't think, again, I just don't. I think there's so much more context. So often we get into the and players have to have accountability. I'm not saying that players can't have some accountability, but we also got to recognize that there's more context to sometimes the dip in performances and the likes. Because if a player is being asked to do things that they aren't naturally, I don't want to say capable, but certainly comfortable in doing, yet they can do it, and we all know that the idea of total football and how football players in a Dutch mind is that you should be able to play everywhere and anywhere on the pitch, basically. That's not always the case. And I think that as in the roles that could be used for some of our players could absolutely be able to bring about a better result for our performances. But again, if you guys want to say, or Lee had a bit. If you want to say a quick statement before the guys get in theirs, you can. But Nolante, JK, did you want to say something in defense or in criticism of Macca?
I could say, for me,
And
last season my favorite player.
Part of the show, so part of that earlier show. So you hopefully you heard you heard the conversations that were going back and forth. So
yeah, that's like nowadays. It's if people like Salah and Virgil van Dijk can get heat and disrespect after what they've done for us, for me, people like McAllister got no chance. Let's be real now. Like for me, last season, McAllister was my favorite player, bro.
Right.
Why? Because I liked his vigor, his grit, got stuck in when we needed him to do. And what happened because of that was his groin injury, and he had an operation or whatever it was, and he hasn't recovered until I would say the last month now, where he's looking much tougher, getting stuck in more.
He gets some knocks, doesn't he? JK, he's one of them players that gets some bad tackles on him. Mate, that fella for Sheffield United who done him, can't remember, Armel Azozovic or something, their captain, was it who done him? No, it wasn't. It was one of the midfielders. It was an English fella, and he did not. Oh, it was a terrible tackle. But then we had Tarkovsky as well. He is a player that sort of attracts it sometimes when he's. It just happens with him.
But I think, you know what? I think in the last 4 games, bar the Wolves game the other day, he was probably one of our best players. Got 2 goals. So he sort of found his feet now, and I was happy to see that. Very disappointed in his Wolves game. like for me last season, he was probably after Salah and say Virgil, probably our best player.
Mhm.
Okay, so all of a sudden the disrespect he's getting, like I don't really understand it. But basing it just on that Wolves game, he was poor, and I was looking for him to carry on that form, getting a goal or whatever it was. And I don't know, man. Our midfield was poor against Wolves.
Yeah. I mean, I've said
Gramovich
all
came off.
season when I've been asked, like, you know, I'm a big fan of Matt, always have been, but he has tested me, my patience and my faith in him this season. And it's not so much like him, like I'm thinking, oh, he's not putting enough, he's not doing. It's like it's his fitness. It's like the injury that he has it
The
took
groin
something
surgery,
out of him
bro,
that
because
can't be
like
put back.
we play football, and if you do your groin, it's not one of the nice injuries. You know what I mean? Ankle and groin are one of the worst injuries you can get because the pain's uncomfortable and they don't let you do anything. You know, so what's going to happen is mentally you don't want to get stuck in straight away. Why? Because you don't want to get the same injury. Because you got to think McAllister's thinking of the World Cup as well. You know, so he hasn't rushed himself. Now he's fit, I would say. He's probably been the best all season fitness wise. He's probably at
I think you're gonna
level of
really
the best he's been all season.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get the best out of Matt McAllister going forward because we're getting closer to World Cup, and this is like when he knows he has to be in the form and shape of his life.
Yeah,
But I mean, like yesterday, you say he wasn't good. Yesterday, he was 92% passing accuracy, 31 out of 34 passes in the opposition half, 14 out of 15 passes in our half, 1 out of 1 for long balls, 2 key passes. He was unsuccessful in his dribbles. He had two unsuccessful dribbles. Lost the ball 7 times, but had 14 carries, 1 progressive carry, and then defensively he was he had 1 tackle, but he was 4 out of 9 for his ground duels and 2 out of 2 for aerial duels. He had 1 foul, was drove past once, but also had 1 recovery and 3 interceptions.
Yeah, he's been more like himself of late. He has been playing a bit better of late. Like most of the players, or all the players last night, though, it wasn't a good game for him. You know, it wasn't a good game for any of them. None of them come out with any credit, really, did they, last night, including Arne himself, like, who oversaw the whole thing.
Yeah, those are not horrible stats. But I'm not saying he had a great game yesterday. But I am saying that he didn't have a wretched game. He didn't have a bad game. I think collectively we had a subpar game, despite the fact that if you look at the statistics, we controlled the ball more. We had we had more of the momentum and the likes.
He's still one of our main players, like, you know, he's one of our really important players, isn't he? Like, you know, he's got experience now. Obviously, he's got the experience of winning the World Cup. So yeah, he's one of our main men. I just hope that we can get more out of him, like, then towards the end of the season with the World Cup approaching, and that whatever has been holding him back physically, like, for most of the season, just finally, like, you know, passes him. You know, he gets past it, like, and we get more out of him hopefully towards the end of the season, because God knows we need it.
All right. Well, enough of the Mac talk, I guess. Let's get into the show, really, because there's a bunch to get into, and I want to make sure that we have time for everything. So about yesterday's game, this one definitely felt like we got pickpocketed, basically in slow motion. We controlled a good majority of the game at the second half. First half was a poor watch, but the second half looked like we actually started to show a little bit more measure to possibly get the momentum in our favor to get a goal. But we lost 2-1. And the headline isn't just a 94th minute deflection. It's that we got a team that looks like we're trying to win a match with possession receipts instead of actually cutting edge energy and the likes, and urgency, as people, that big word that a lot of people like to talk about. And then comes the quote that is the timeline of on fire, or puts the timeline on fire, put me on notice as well. And as Arne Slot basically saying, his football heart doesn't like it. Saying his football heart doesn't like it, meaning the Premier League. He said, and most Premier League games are not a joy to watch. I can understand where he's coming from with that statement. I can agree with that statement. It's the reason why we have a team in Arsenal about to possibly go on to win the league, maybe. It is not beautiful football. It is not open play football. And I get you'll have people out there, your Simon Jordans and the likes, and the likes, saying, oh, well, if you don't like it, do something about it, or who cares, or this, as long as those lines, great. I'm speaking from an entertainment perspective. It is not an entertaining watch. When the majority of the teams in the Premier League do exactly cut and paste Stoke FC. And that's where I get when I hear those comments. And I can agree with Arnie on that. However, his football is not pretty to watch either. And that's the irony.
Yeah, it's true that, isn't it? Like his football, it just isn't that good to watch. It wasn't great to watch last season, but it was highly successful for us and we all enjoyed it. But yeah, in terms of a watch, like, it ain't the most exciting thing you'll ever see, like, is it?
Exactly. We'll have comments from Stephen Warnock. We'll have comments from Stephen Gerrard. To have said on the likes of Liverpool were the exact proof of Slot's complaint. Safe, sideways, not entertaining.
I know Gerrard's not happy.
No, he's not. He's
not happy, bro.
Let me ask this question. I'll ask it to you first, JK. Let me ask this question. And then, is Slot's diagnosing of the Premier League a real Premier League problem? Or is he maybe narrating over Liverpool's personal struggles that we have to get over ourselves?
Like, for me, he talks too much about things that are not going his way, if you understand my point. At the end of the day, if we were Arsenal and we were the leading guys in set pieces, would he be talking about them? So I reckon he talks about things too much that he don't need to talk about. Like, for me today, I was expecting to wake up in the morning and there's going to be a news thingy that he's got sacked. Because like, how can we carry on like this? Where I don't blame him for the loss in that way of Van Dijk and Konate's defending on that last goal. Actually, on their first goal was just poor. You can't blame Slot for that. Slot didn't tell Konate to stand there. That was Konate's decision. So I can't blame Slot for that, but I can blame him for the way we went into the game first half. We were non-existent. We could have smashed them 2 goals in that first half, no problem. But we just didn't want to do it. So that's directions from the manager.
Yeah. Do you think he has a point, Lee?
Sorry, what was it again?
Do you think that he has a point?
In that way of where I can't blame Slot for Konate and Van Dijk getting together like they were in
Oh,
going into a nightclub when they were marking that one guy. That was their decision, not Slot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the way I look at it is we had to do more aside from that, you know, if that would have happened anyway, but we'd have started the game better and been maybe in a better position at that point.
Yeah.
You know, but we weren't, and we ended up going behind in a match that was, you know, we had the ball like most of the time, and that we just didn't do enough with it. That was my problem with the whole thing, like rather than any individual bits of like, you know, poor play or that. But yeah, I suppose you can look at it from that point of view that, yeah, you know, we can't help the way, and then the way that one come off Joe was really lucky for them. You know what I mean? That was a lucky winner, that mate. It couldn't have went better the way it just went. So yeah, there's definitely something in it for Arnie, like in that there was signs of a performance there. We just didn't get the result, and we had to get that result really yesterday with the pressure we're under with Chelsea and United.
Yeah, it's not going to be easier.
Oh, mate, we couldn't be in a race with two clubs that they're the two I hate the most. United, obviously, first and foremost, but after that, Chelsea, I cannot stand.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a he's American too, I think. But there is this content creator. He has his name is the show is called All Red Liverpool.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've watched that before, like in the past, not for a while, like, but I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah. The premise that he had was Slot. It was an interesting take, especially after this result, and especially after what we've seen. A lot of people, you know, just really, really go in on Arnie for a lot of his comments, or just the state of the team in general. The comment that he made that I just mentioned was certainly that. Just was a philosophical style, I think, response by our coach. I think one that does have some merit behind it. It is not pretty football to watch. But the premise that they did on that channel, as I mentioned earlier, the premise was Slot is fighting set piece football, low blocks, and trying to restore beautiful football. Now, people might say that I'm a football romantic. People might say that, oh, you know, they go as far as to call me a top red sometimes because of the pro Liverpool stances that I take, or this or that, or blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah, but you're not a big fan of Slot, bro. You've never been.
Oh, exactly. You know
so,
yeah.
That's when I start getting worried. I said, when 12 pounds not happy, we gotta worry. You know what I mean? I said, if 12 pounds saying something, man, like, come on. Like, you're the one guy I could say is always back in the team, the manager. You never like the other guys who were always moaning about anything. So when you started saying, Ralph, Kanate, I'm not happy about Slot, I was like, okay.
And that type context for Kanate, the only reason I wasn't happy was because Kanate needed to have a better present. Kanate had to be present. He had to be available for selections. And what really ticked me off, really, for Kanate is one last season, or it was the season before, or last season, one of the seasons previously, he didn't play for us, went to France, played for France, then came back and didn't play for us. That made me like really, really agitated to say, like, we get where your heart is. But I do think that his heart is with Liverpool. I do.
Do you say that because there's not been any concrete interest by another team to take him for next season? If you know what I mean? Like, yeah, everyone's talking about the Real Madrid rumours. But other than that, there's no real strong link. Oh, he's going Paris, Saint-Germain. 100% is done. You know what I mean?
I think PSG would take him as a player. I think
of course.
Yeah, on a free.
Kanate on his day is a top defender. Don't get me wrong. It's all about the concentration levels, bro. Look, was he concentrating yesterday when he was Van Dijk's bodyguard?
Yeah,
Yeah. Was he thinking then? No, he weren't. He should have gone back 10 yards and a little bit to his side of defense, the right side. He should have done that. And then that guy who was running straight through wouldn't have that time. Yeah.
Okay. Hashin watched what I was talking about. He didn't make it through the first minute. Red Iron Chair Support says his heart needs to tell his hand to sign up, so they're disconnected between them. I got you. Look, I'm going to say this, and this is goes to I don't know the gentleman personally. I would assume a red, but considering he does pro red, or he does Liverpool content, but and has a channel called All Red, So I would assume he's a red, but before we get into this, I'm critiquing ideas. I'm critiquing the things he had to state. I'm not critiquing the person. Okay. This has nothing to do with the individual. Okay. He's doing what good creators do. That is pulling a theme from the chaos and making a case for what he believes in his heart is the truth, or what he wants to make sure that people recognize or feel is the move, or is the line to get behind, right? And what I'm going to do is stress test that theory. And I think that what we can do is this. We can argue that Arne Slot doesn't want to play the way Premier League football is shaping up to be. We can all agree on that. The league has become increasingly, and this is why I said at the beginning of the year, it's why when we talk with Arsenal fans, especially the deluded ones that think that they're the next coming of either the Invincibles or the next coming of of the Galacticos with this team, like your Egals and the sort. The league has become increasingly dead ball heavy. And why I say that is that there's credible data out there that shows this. 27.5% of Premier League goals this season are from non-penalty set pieces. If you were to tell me that over one quarter of the goals scored in the Prem, nearly one third of all goals scored in the Prem are from non-set pieces or non-penalty set pieces, that should show you where the league is at.
There's definitely something in what he said about it. Like it does sound like, and it is to a certain extent sour grapes. Like he's saying it because we're not doing well this season, but like it is true that it has been quite boring. Like at times this season,
it is massive.
When you think about what it was a few years ago, it's not as good on the eye, is it? Like, and like you say, matches are being decided more and more like on set pieces.
And it's not even, the set pieces. Look, set pieces are ugly too. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying that this is some new fashion of the concept of a corner kick, but it is almost as if there is more hugging and grabbing and pulling and the likes in the box nowadays than there ever has been, because they're allowed to do it even more. And it is ugly because, for instance, I saw Declan Rice bear hugging, basically piggyback riding on the back of his opposition. He in my opinion, handballs it by throwing his arm into the corner going up. So he's holding the player down. He's able to handball or in my opinion again, handball the ball away. No call. No nothing. Yet we have a bunch of things going on in the league that suggest that a lot of other teams are recognizing that that is going to be what you have to do to get by. And that's what it is. Guardiola himself has talked about how set pieces are dominating the league. They reported there's a paper in England that reported about Arsenal's reliance is striking this season. How much they rely on set pieces to the point where their crowd gets more excited when they get a set piece than they do when they have open play. So Slot's quote about not enjoying the new reality of the Premier League is not something that is solely his. It's some of ours, and it's certainly some of his colleagues. And if your ideal is open play patterns or dribblers, isolating fullbacks, or defenses actually being punished for sitting in a low block, the modern Premier League is not for you. I'll ask this to the panel. Is set piece dominance a problem, or is it just tactical evolution we need to accept? Is set piece dominance, with how we see it, a problem, or is it just a tactical evolution we as Liverpool fans need to accept? Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, we've just got to accept it. I mean, I think what Arnie's trying to say, or what he didn't say there, what he probably meant was my football would look better if teams would come out and, play against us. We'd look better then, and then the football would be more attractive. But, as it is this season, Arnie's football's like watching paint dry. And, to be fair, sometimes it is because teams are dug in so deep. She's from one side to the other, but it's still just been not good enough anyway. And there's innumerable reasons for that. It's not all one thing this season. A few things have come together to make it a tough season for us. But if that's the way it's going to be and it's going to continue like this, then we've got to deal with it. And if he was to keep the job, he'd have to deal with it. He'd have to think of something to make the Premier League better again. I remember when Ruud Gullit tried to revive Newcastle when he got that job. He said, "What type of football do you want to play, Ruud?" Another Dutchman, and he said, "Sexy football," and it become a thing, Ruud sexy football, and the media grabbed onto it. And then when things were a bit pear-shaped, rival fans were singing, "You can stick your sexy football up your ass" at Newcastle and stuff like that. But what Arnie's idea of sexy football is as a Dutchman is probably a lot different to what Ruud Gullit's was, 25, 30 years ago. It's not been very sexy as it this season, the football. And Liverpool, I mean, if it was a woman, you wouldn't touch it with a barge pole as far as sex appeal goes.
Well, we're not trying to get into Tracy. How you met Tracy. But I mean, what I was going to say is, I think if it's evolution, if it is evolution, and that's what it says, that it's evolution that we're going to have to get used to, why does it feel worse to watch? Why does it feel like this is unappealing to watch?
Because it is.
Simple as.
I'll quickly say to Red Armchair, yeah, it's true. People having Liverpool YouTube channels doesn't really mean that they're Liverpool fans. Bang on, bro. Because it's boring to watch, bro. When you look at that game yesterday, that was bad. Everyone's a fan in their own way, but yesterday the game made me sort of say to the TV, "What's going on here?" You know what I mean? I'm I don't normally talk to the TV when I'm watching a Liverpool match, but yesterday it made me say, "What the hell's going on here?" As soon as that first goal, you couldn't write it the way we just opened up and stuff. So it's not appealing, this football. I can understand the philosophy of it to an extent, in that way of preserving energy and then surprising the opposition second half or putting your foot down. But it's a gamble because you're wasting 50 minutes from the first half. You're getting injury time 3 to 5 minutes or whatever it is. So you're wasting a half. Okay, it's 0-0 or 1-1 or whatever. It's tight. You could be leading 1-0 at the same time and that. But for me, it's a bit of a gamble, bro. Because at the end of the day, look what happened. Wolves got nicked a goal. Salah got a goal. Fair play to him after so long. And then what happened? It was 1-1. And there's me thinking we need to go and get the winner now. What happens? They get the winner. So instead of us smashing 3 goals in the first half and having that breathing space, we're actually in a situation where the opposition, bottom of the league, have nicked the game. And that could have happened against Sunderland. That could have happened against... who else did we win 1-0 against? All these games where it's like 2-1, 1-0. Risky, bro. That's risky football. I'm not a big fan of it.
I think a lot of Arnie's idea for evolution this season hung upon Wirtz, didn't it? And him settling in immediately and us transitioning a bit smoother into a side where he calls the tune. And, it has took a while, for Wirtz to, find his feet. I mean, he has now. And we all knew he would. We all knew how good he was.
Yeah, I knew.
He would eventually. But I think that's a large part of, why it stagnated at times this season, is that Arnie just imagined it'd be easier once he come in. And, obviously with the forwards that we bought, he probably, thought that'd be enough. And I can't blame him for thinking that, because I thought that myself, in the summer. We've got well enough here for a good title defence attempt at the very, I favoured us very much at the beginning of the season, but it's just played out so much differently than what we all expected, hasn't it? I don't think any of us could have imagined it being as bad as it's been at times this season. We've just looked really short on confidence, haven't we, a lot of the time? And it's assuredness and authority, those type of things. We just haven't looked sure of ourselves, and we flustered too easy, don't we, when teams put us under the cosh a bit.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's because of the manager's instructions, bro. Robertson, he's a prime example. When I told you, he's switching from Klopp to Slot's football made Robertson not find his feet for a whole season. Last season, he was making mistakes, this and that. Why? Because Slot was telling him, hold your horses, don't cross the halfway line, don't overlap, don't do nothing, just sit. Kirkes was doing that this season, and what happened to him? He couldn't find his feet, bro. And in the last month or so, 6 weeks, Kirkes was thinking, fuck that, I'm going to do what I've got to do. And hence why Kirkes is settled down now. Too much instructions from the manager to slow it down.
Good now, isn't he?
Yeah. Why? Because he's doing what he feels is necessary for him to settle into that position. Van Dijk's had to go at him a number of times, so he was thinking in his head, I'm trying to do what the manager's telling me. But realistically, he was hindering his game. Because he's a raging bull.
I see more than a few of our fans, in the chat and the stream, saying that Wirtz was Kirkes was a bad buy. It wouldn't work out. He's a flop. All right, hold your horses. He's only been here 5 minutes, but
you know what I mean, bro?
Yeah,
we wouldn't stand a chance if you think about football nowadays. For me, Kirkes solid, full of energy. And he don't let the wingers breathe when he's on them. So, and I said, you know what? I like Kirkes. Even though he made his mistakes, didn't really settle in, I thought there's a player there. And now you see why. You got to have patience with new signings, bro.
I just hope he can stay fit, because we've suffered badly at right back this season. Based how many people have played right back. I mean, even Ramsey's had a few minutes. We've had about 10 right backs this season or something stupid. And half of them have been bloody midfielders. You know what I mean? We've been cursed at right back this season. But I just hope, in the foreseeable future, and, seasons going forward, the Kirkes stays fit and that the development just keeps on with him and that. because, like, yeah, he'll be an excellent replacement and a worthy successor to Robbo, who was excellent for us, because we'd struggled in the left-back position for a bit, haven't we, before we got Robbo? That had, like, a number of players that haven't worked out, Moreno being the most obvious one, and cost a few bob as well. But Robbo just had it nailed down, didn't he? And we were all, we were all the better for it as a side and as a squad. And we were all made up with him. But I think, yeah, Kirk has to be a worthy successor to him and should hopefully go from strength to strength. I'm hoping Frimpong can stay fit now because he's very important, from the point of view that we haven't really got any pace in the side anymore like we used to. He's very important. It just gives us that extra outlet, doesn't he? So that's good to have him back.
Yeah, good to have him back.
Well, yeah, good to have Joe back as well. We got Chiesa got 15 minutes or something, didn't he, to have a go yesterday? I thought he waited a bit long, to make subs. I would have preferred Rio and Chiesa maybe to have come on earlier than they did. But there you go. Can't hear you, 12.
We're going to hear you, 12.
Can't hear you.
My fault. Sorry about that. Before we go back into the conversation about what we were talking about this, Arne Slot, the savior of football take. Okay. I will say this. I know that there was something I saw. Do you think, I had a serious question. Do you think that was a foul on Virgil van Dijk that led to that first goal? Do you think that was a foul that led to the? I know I saw Matt from Coppish. He had a show on earlier. I watched it, gave the like, of course, and I even sent him a clip or sent him a little clip. Hopefully he sees it. I don't believe he watches my show regularly, but hopefully he sees the clip or at least the posting that I saw on Twitter that might change his opinion on whether it was a foul or not. But he didn't think it was a foul. Do you think that was a foul? That's that first question. And then I have a follow-up question. Yes, no. Chat can answer
No.
too, people.
No, not for me.
Not for you. Okay.
Not for me, nah.
Which
Foul?
Which one?
It wasn't called a foul, but Virgil van Dijk was going up for a header or trying to control the header and got pushed in the back by the player. And then obviously Ibu was a little bit out of spot, out of place.
This way, I've seen them giving us a foul loads. It depends how the defender plays you. And Virgil, there's a lot. Virgil, he's not that dishonest, I would say. And there's others who would have just left at the chance there to have just made a thing out of it, and you get the foul. He didn't, and it cost us.
Because I will keep you. Look, Virgil needs to be stronger. Being honest, I've said that time and time again. Needs to be stronger. He needs to do his best to not get out of position and get played like that. Not disputing that. But I also saw in Arsenal versus Spurs. I saw Gabriel do his get a hand in his back, a small hand in his back. Him react like he got shot from the rafters, and he gets the call. And that was on a case where Kolo Muani scored on that opportunity too. By the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I get that it's not I can understand it's not a foul. Cool. If it's not a foul, then Spurs should have had a goal. But that got called. Gabriel got called. And trust me, Gabriel and some of the others on Arsenal should be nominated for a BAFTA. I believe that's what you guys, isn't that your Oscar, I believe, right? I believe that they deserve some nominations for their actions this season because it has been absolutely acting to its fullest. But I just wanted to know if you thought that was if it wasn't a foul, I can be right there with you. I can understand.
It also looked like it looked for all the world like Ibu Adam there didn't. All he needed to do was slide in and he'd have that away. It looked and then it ended up in the net. Great finish from the guy. Like it was great the way that little toe poke. Like he's a good player. He up the handy player. But the goal was just it was very disappointing that the nudge on Virgil like and just giving up. It's a bad goal on it. And then the second one was, equally bad from the point of view. It was like Ali's kick. And then the way it come off Joe's just like massively unlucky. And it does happen. It happens a lot in football. The way it happened, the way it just reared up away from Allison was nightmare fuel, mate. Nightmare fuel.
Yeah. I'll even send you two the clip. I know that Nolante's not on X, but I'll send you those clips. Let's get back to our conversation then. I just wanted to see. I know Nolante's in the middle of something, I take it. So I'll get into where I think we're speaking on the content creator thinks that Arne Slot is the Sir Lancelot of football. And that he's doing his best to save football. And my pushback is I think that is too far. That is taking it way too far. Again, this is coming from someone that likes to be the romantic in the house and the football romantic, as sometimes I'm being called. That is a great line. That's a great hook to a song, But it definitely risks turning analysis into mythology. And that's where I'm going to zoom in for a second. I'll say Slot can hate the direction of the league and he can still be responsible for Liverpool being slow, methodic, flat, predictable. Those aren't mutually exclusive. And I can understand Arsenal breaking football is emotionally satisfying for me. But set pieces are a part of football. If you're an elite team, you should make more of them. I think we had at some point during the night, I remember us getting on our 9th corner kick. I'm saying to myself, be better than these guys then. You're going to give us 9, 10, 11, whatever attempts at a corner kick. We should score one of them. Or at least make some real opportunities out of them. And the brutal part about it is, I think Slot's quote hits harder because we just played that match, and that match was poor. But it's why when you hear Steven Gerrard or you hear Stephen Warnock, even you can understand why the reaction to what they say lands with a lot of us, and that we just do safe backwards and sideways passing. So I'll ask again the panel, is Slot fighting the tide, or do you think he's actually drowning?
Well, the thumbnail tells you, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he's his own worst enemy in a weird way. Like the team, because we really don't make mistakes for the opposition to score goals. So we're our own worst enemies, bro. Same as the manager. The manager's too cautious. Being too cautious sometimes don't get you where you want to get. And we've seen in his team's energy. There's no energy in the team. So for me today, I was thinking I'm going to wake up. There's going to be a news article. Slot's got fired. And at the end of the day, look, we don't know the guy. So I've got nothing against him, but I just feel he's not letting the players breathe. Hence why you're not getting top displays by the team. He doesn't let the players breathe. He's too cautious, man. But sometimes you see him on the sidelines. He's trying them to attack or whatever it is. So there's some confusion there, you know.
It's a real question. It's a real question. I'll ask Lee this question. Nalante too, if he's with us. Does Slot's quote sound like a visionary then? Or is it a manager explaining away a creativity issue?
A little bit of both. I'd say that thing about him drowning, like I would imagine he could swim being Dutch, because Holland and Belgium are known as the lowlands, aren't they? Very prone to flooding. That's what all the dams are about.
Okay.
Over the centuries, yeah, they've been flooded that many times. I would imagine most Dutch people could swim.
Okay, I got you. Lee with a Frank Carlisle moment. I like it. Giving us a little history. Okay, I got you. Shout out to Frank, definitely. All right. I mean, I don't know if we're having this conversation if we won 2-0. I think we're just moving on with it. But I mean,
we haven't seen enough from him, have we, this season? This is just the latest in a long line of disappointments. He doesn't seem strong enough at the moment to turn this round for me, and I would really worry about going into next season with him as the boss. Don't want to say anything bad about him. You know, he's been excellent for us, got us the lead and that, but it just ain't worked out like in this second season. I think we will be best moving on, personally. Like. But, you know, I'd wish him all the best afterwards and that, like, and I'd always, you know, have a place in my heart for him, winning us the league. But he does seem to have run out of ideas a bit. I would say he has been hampered a bit by, we haven't had loads of injuries, but we've had enough injuries to make it uncomfortable for him at times this season, especially in the right-back position and then the centre-back positions. He's had no options. We don't really have options in midfield for him to change it, as I was saying before. You know, we got Endo and Jones, like, but that's about it. Like, and he doesn't like starting Endo. He plays Jones now and then, like, but he just doesn't seem to have a lot of ideas, does he? Sometimes I can't really see what he's trying to do.
I think he has ideas.
You sort of can, like, I mean, we're just laymen looking at it like he's the actual coach, and you get, like, sort of what he's trying to do, but it's just like some of the opposition that, like, we've been just out-muscled and outclassed by this season has been embarrassing. It's just happened time and time again. And we have looked better against the bigger clubs. Probably our best performances have been against the bigger sides. I mean, even City away game, we bloody equalised. We were all right, and I could have won that game if it weren't for that crap. And maybe if Gay had been sent off, could have won the only one. But no, Arsenal, like the two Arsenal games, probably like our best performances, like winning at home, Dom's free kick, and then getting that draw away. Like, probably our two best games this season in terms of like playing against the top opposition, like as Arsenal have been this season, against the lower teams and the mid teams, and that we've been tragic, haven't we, at times?
Yeah, I'd say the thing about it is if the league is a set piece league, fine. We can understand, and I'm not really willing to accept that. I don't want to accept that, but I understand. I can acknowledge that. But then the manager, our coach, has to answer this thing or this question, and that is, what does Liverpool have control without threat, or why does Liverpool have control without threat? I mean, possession isn't a part of this beautiful game that he's referencing if it's sterile. Organized chaos isn't chaos if nobody takes risks. This team does not take risks. We're very conservative. And I can give All Red Liverpool the right to highlight the macro trend, or maybe even tell us, you know, this glorified and romantic take on why Arne Slot is taking the L because he's trying to save football. But the micro reality is Liverpool's wide players and the final third execution have consistently under-delivered this season. The level needs to be punish low blocks, not capitulate, to low blocks. And I'm not calling Slot delusional. I'm not calling this individual delusional or whatever from his take, but I'm not going to be crowning him football's Batman while we're dropping points to a relegation-bound side. It's that simple. Organized petulance, yes. This is what it feels like, right? All right, well, let's stop arguing about vibes and let's get tactical for a quick second, because there was some conversation that spoke about some of the things that we're seeing, or the question was asked in another show actually about what is Slot ball? What is Arne Slot's tactical plan? And I think that this version of Liverpool is supposed to be built on control. It's supposed to be controlled build-up, controlled rest defense, and then this idea of organized chaos in the final third. You have rotations, you have overloads, you have quick interchanges. The key traits we're supposed to be seeing is the high press that can look like a 4-2-4 in moments. So that fullbacks pushing high as wide outlets and creators, midfielders dropping to create stable build lines, and we're supposed to have wingers drifting inside to overload central pockets. But this system only looks beautiful when the wing profiles and the third man runs actually work. If the wide threat is predictable, no names, I'm not saying any names, but if the wide threat is predictable, because you could probably argue both of our wingers are pretty predictable at the moment, all the control in the world becomes just a waiting room for when we're going to have a quick brain fart and allow for them to do what they did yesterday twice.
Yeah, because they didn't do nothing all game really, bar them two things. Let's be real here.
Yep.
So that's why I was really annoyed with that lack of, I don't know, man. What do you call it? Common sense, you know. Because their goal, that got the winner. As soon as Alisson kicked it, because for me, Curtis shouldn't even give Alisson the ball. Curtis hit the ball long. Hopefully, Ekitike or Salah could run onto it and get the winner. What does he do? He gives the square ball, and Alisson there and then sort of kicked the ball. That went great. So Curtis made that mistake, and so did Alisson with his kick.
No, we're going back to Alisson too much, passing it back to him. We should, players just should be prepared to launch it themselves, you know what I mean? They're not goalies, you know what I mean? They should be able to kick the ball well enough, you know, if there's nothing on, just chip onto the bloody corner so someone can chase it, you know what I mean?
That's the case, though.
Chase it.
We just, everything I spoke on earlier, everything you guys are describing right now about kicking the ball back to Ali and everything else, what is the word you think of? Safe. We heard it by the pundits, and that's the thing. We're safe. Before the heavy metal football and everything else, I know there was a little bit sometimes too volatile or too, predictable cases of, you might have a case where you have, a nuclear meltdown. I get that. But we're always safe. And Warnock's line said just that. Liverpool are safe. We like backwards, we like sideways passing. and we aren't entertaining because it's observable, something we see. And the numbers from that first half back up that Arsenal up. The numbers back that up. Big possession, low threats, and match tempo. I think Red Arm Chest Supporter put it earlier in the chat. They didn't get their first shot came at 78 minutes. Now, I get that, but Stevie G's angle was this. We are boring. We are slow, and we lack speed. And I think that hits right on. Go ahead.
He looked pissed off. I didn't bother watching any of the aftermath. Just briefly, like when it went into the studio after it finished, and you seen the face on him, like Gerrard, he did not look pleased. But no wonder.
Yeah, Gerrard was annoyed, bro. I understand it, and that's why I'll take him tomorrow. I'll take him tomorrow, man, until the end of the season, whatever. Because for me, it's all about energy football. You know, whoever says Gerrard's not a great manager, who cares right now? Because there's no energy in that team. He would kick ass.
I agree with that.
You're going to get that from Gerrard. He'll go in there and kick ass. And after that display, you're losing to the bottom of the league team, bro. Come on. It don't get worse than that. We got Galatasaray next week. You know, so, and that's going to be hostile. Molineux wasn't that hostile, but Istanbul will be.
Yes, it will be. But what's fortunate is Galatasaray has, this was just reported, I think today was the report, Galatasaray has been hit with a player or a fan ban, basically. So they will not be at Anfield for our game.
Well, that's not really any help, is it? Like, if they were banned, like,
I don't think you can ban them from. I don't know. Maybe can. I don't believe it.
Is it over flares or something? Is it?
It was because of racial things or something like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
going to there. Yeah, it's going to be. You know, it's always a great atmosphere there. To play in, and players have just got to get on with it, like, you know, the atmosphere and that. Hopefully we're well there. I mean, we've already been there this season. We were crap. Oh, that was a really bad performance. Where's the Gala, mate, in the league stage? That was poo. And that pen that won it for Gala, I mean, that was an atrocity, that wasn't it, right there? That was the best decision to give a pen for that against Soboslai.
My fault. It's not about racial. It is because UEFA has banned Galatasaray fans from attending the Champions League last 16's second leg match against Liverpool at Anfield on March 18th. Because this sanction follows crowd disturbances, including object throwing and firework usage during their 3-2 defeat at Juventus on February 25th. The club was also fined 40,000 euros. So no Galatasaray supporters will be at the away end of Anfield.
So are they going to give it to us guys then to fill it?
You think he was, wouldn't you? I mean, you think the club would? I bet you don't. I bet you it's just empty. You would think.
I'll give it to the school kids.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
No, I'd give it to some loud Liverpool fans, to be honest with you. Ones that can keep it classy, but some loud Liverpool fans to take away that element of saying that. I know people have been remarking that Anfield is like a library more than a fortress at the moment. If that's the case, let's get some fans in there.
I'm not sure Osman is coming, Armchair. I think he's in discussions with another Liverpool YouTube content creator to start his own channel. With this mystery guy, this mystery YouTube guy.
Yeah, it's one that is going to be interesting to see what happens when they do travel this way.
I'm trying to think about the last visit there before the one this season, like in the league stage. I can't think when we last went there to actually play Gala. Anyway,
I must say this. This is my roundup, and we didn't do player ratings yesterday, so I'll mix in that at the end of the show. But I'll say it as clean as possible. Wolves didn't beat Liverpool. Liverpool beat Liverpool yesterday. I think that Wolves didn't have waves and waves of chances against us. They beat Liverpool because we made the game winnable for them. Their first shot comes late. When the match stays 0-0 for that long, you're just inviting that opportunity to erupt. We had territory, but the final third was a graveyard. Predictable wide play. We had slow decisions, too few ruthless actions. We didn't really get into doing anything until we started throwing, this Arne Slot ball where when we're down like that, he goes and throws everything. He throws everything but the kitchen sink up against the wall, as they say. And all of a sudden you have, Chiesa, you have Rio, you have all these players going forward. And we can see it again. And again, it stops because being unlucky and starting a game right are two different things. My biggest criticisms and one of the biggest points I would like to see this team work on this season, not only corner kicks or set pieces, but it is starting games with urgency, starting games with energy, not letting out the throttle, not worried about being all in control of this and that, but going forward with energy and with assuredness. Because we have to start a game with game management, bench impact, fitness, mentality. All those concepts have to be put into this game for us to win. And that's against every and any competition we go up against. If Slot's trying to save football, bravo, brother. Bravo. However, don't do it at the expense. Don't do it at the expense of jeopardizing or harming our team. Because you first have to save Liverpool from being a team that dominates the ball but loses matches anyway. You have to do something again. You want to make a plea to save anything? Save us from that. What's the number one fix before the rematch? What's the number one fix we have to do before the rematch for you guys? We got a rematch coming up on Friday.
number one fix.
Yeah, the panel from Quasi's all thought we're going to win.
For me, it would be get their attitude right, like to go at them straight away and not to just play cagey and see how things develop. Just get at them and see how they cope with being got at by us early on. I'm not asked that they're home and they just beat us. If we go about it in the right way and attack them, can analyse where we can get goals against them and then just go for them. That'd be a major fix, wouldn't it? But we never do that these days, do we? From the beginning, just come out the traps really quickly, like we used to under Klopp. It always takes time to get up to that point under Arne. He's done it, a long, inordinately long time for us to get going in games.
Play quicker with more energy. Big up, Hylor, joining us. Definitely. Evening.
Hi, Hilo.
Definitely. Big up. Big up. Ballers, bottlers, ratings. Let's knock out the show with the last 20 minutes with what that is going to entail. And that is, I'm going to say baller. I'm going to give Rio a baller shout. I thought Rio was very, very energetic. He is a breath of fresh air when it comes to the types of attacks that he brings to the fold. I know that this is what Steven Gerrard had to say via the Echo. Let me show you this. He said he has to start Rio now or Engamo now. He's doing more in a small space of time than Gakpo is doing in 60 minutes. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. I thought Rio's shot onto the post was like definitely one of the high points of the game. It was one of the best little bits of action of the game, that. And he did give us that bit more, like he was more willing to go at the player than Gakpo ever is when he receives it in the same positions. So that's something surely that we need. You know, he doesn't mind going on the outside, like, and trusting his left foot to hook one in with, like. And I'd like to see more. I'd definitely like to see it on Friday. Why not? What have we got to lose? Starting him over Cozy? He probably bloody won't. But I would start Rio over Cozy on Friday and give him a chance. You know, give him a chance to have a good run to play at the. You know, you don't have to keep him on for the whole match. He could do some damage like early on and get us in a good position. Help to get us in a good position. We'll see anyway. But yeah, I can see where he's coming from. Definitely, Cody's not giving us hardly anything, is he, at the moment?
Mm-hmm. I would say there was an opportunity for him to be a baller with Salah when he got that goal back for us. But obviously, he scored when we needed oxygen. He scored to give us hope, but obviously it amounted to much of nothing. So I'll go with bottlers. I'll keep Rio as a sole baller in that. I'll put the bottlers as bottlers being our final third ability in the final third. You know, I don't know how for one of the few times you're saying, or at least I'm saying to myself, Mohamed Salah, be selfish. You're in the middle of the pitch. You got 3 defenders in front of you. You got 4 play. You got a 4-on-3. One player is marked to the guy next to you. The other is not near you. The other that is to your right is about to is trying to straddle marking you and Dominic Szoboszlai. Fake the pass to Dominic Szoboszlai. One more tap. You're in on goal. You have your pick of where you want to put it with your left foot. I think it's a guaranteed goal almost. But he was not being greedy. He was trying to be distributive with it, and he ended up losing it. Game management, by the way, is something as a bottler movement of it too. That gets attested to our manager. We can't close out games, much less we can't even really win games the way we should. Let's just go through these ratings real quick. Ali yesterday, I gave him a 5. Distribution was okay, not the greatest, but I don't think the goals were goals that he could have stopped. One was One was a deflection. The other one, maybe he should do a little bit better with it, but it's still a tough angle, and it was a well-taken shot. What's your opinion? What's your rating for Ali Lee? We'll go Lee and then JK. We'll just go around the horn each time.
Ali, 7.
Hmm?
For me, did he give his?
No, he doesn't. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead, JK.
For me, Alisson, look, when you look at the game, what did Wolves do? They had 2 chances, got 2 goals. So for me, Alisson a 4.
Okay.
Because that kick at the end weren't great. Lost the game from that kick. He set him up. So he gets an assist. Sort of. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's your rating, Lee?
I did say 1 before JK came in, like, but you probably didn't hear me. But I'm
No.
gonna lower it. Yeah, I think it's. I'll say 6. I'll say 6.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad you did. Jeez, you had him higher than a 6. Okay.
Well, 1 more.
Okay. No worries. Frimpong. I gave Frimpong a 5. Tidy, not decisive. Really could have been better. I don't want him to get too predictable, as in, he was cut off a couple of times by the Wolves defenders, knowing that he was going to try to go to his pace and try to go to the byline. I gave him a 5. What'd you give Frimpong? Lee, then JK.
Let's see. 5.
5 too.
You know
okay.
what, bro?
What?
I think for me, I'm going to give Frimpong a 7
Okay.
because I think he was sound. When he was on the pitch, he looked sound. Considering it's his first start in a long time, I think he's one of our better players. So I'm going to give him a 7.
All right. Ibu. The mistake in positioning hurt. He had a decent game, other than that mistake, really, per se. But I still gave him a 5. What would you give him, Lee?
Yeah, another 5.
Okay. What'd you give him, JK?
Well, for his babysitting skills, I'll give him a 10. For me, I'm going to give him a 4 as well, bro. 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk. Fine until the critical moment. But I gave him because I think he's got to be stronger, because he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to these calls. I gave him a 4. Lee?
Virgil.
Yep.
5.
Okay. JK?
I'll give him a 4.
4.
I'll give him a 4.
Kirkez had some good positioning. A little slow on some of the decisions. Was subbed off. I don't think it was because of. I think it was just because this coach has a philosophy, I think, now of he's going to play Kirkez and Gakpo together, and when it comes to when he does play Rio, he's going to play Rio with Robbo. So I thought he was decent. I gave him a 5 though, nothing more. Not many. I didn't give out really any high grades in this whole thing, just in case people are wondering. Kirkez, Mr. Lee. Okay. How about JK?
I'll give Kirkez a 6.
Okay. 6. I gave him a 5. Lee, what'd you want to give Kirkez?
5. That's 5 for all 4 of the back 4. You'll get a 5.
Okay. 5 lives, like Johnny 5. All right. I'm not even going to play the sound effect, but Gravy. I think he got an early card, which affected his play. It was a stupid card, but then again, it is again the reason why I know people were really, really critical of me going off on the referees yesterday. But I just think that all I'm asking from the referees is consistency. I don't. If you think it's a foul or you don't think it's a foul, we can get into that conversation. But for me, I'm just all about consistency. And I saw earlier fouls by Wolves that weren't given cards. Grav makes a very similar level challenge, which is, you could argue, is certainly it could be a yellow card, certainly. But if the other ones aren't yellow, then don't give this one a yellow. Give him a stern talking to. I think it was his first real, like, questionable challenge. So, I don't know. I thought that was problematic, but I thought this was one of Grav's worst games. I gave him a 4. What'd you give Grav? By the way, hi, Jimmy, by the way. Big up, Jimmy.
I'll give him a 5. I'll give him that one more. Make the reaction, the hysterical reaction that got him booked is what got him booked. If it weren't for the hysterical reaction, he wouldn't have got booked. Simple as that. So I'll give him an extra point from your 4, bump him up to a 5.
JK, what'd you give him?
Abramovich a 3.
All right. McAllister, Macca. I gave Macca a 6. Some bite, a little bit, caught out at other times. What'd you give Macca? Who'd you give mac and cheese? How much cheese is on on Mac?
Not much. You can only get cheese spread.
Cheese spread.
Cheese spread.
Whiz.
Really cheap, horrible cheese spread that doesn't taste of cheese at all.
Right, imitation cheese. There you go.
I'll give him a 5.
Okay.
It's all 5s with me tonight. Yeah, Johnny 5 is alive.
Okay. What about for you, JK?
Macca a 4.
Okay.
Midfield was not great.
Yeah, and midfield not great looking. Mohamed Salah, goal maybe mass acquired or influence in this game. I get that. I gave Salah a 6. I would have given him a 5, but I gave him a point for the goal. What do you give him, Lee?
Another 5, yeah.
Another 5, okay. 5 alive. What did you give him, JK?
For me, I'm going to give Salah a 6.5. He was trying. He got his first goal in a long time as well. He was trying, bro.
Yeah. Dominic Szoboszlai, I gave a 6. What'd you give Dominic Szoboszlai? Lee, you're up. You're always up after me, Lee. So there's only one other person, but
who am I grading here? Szoboszlai or Salah?
So, Dom, you already gave Salah. Okay.
Yeah, 5. He was quite quiet. It was probably his but because what was going on around him wasn't that great, you know what I mean? It was one of his crummiest performances that he's had this season. Didn't see much from him. He tried his best, but didn't see a lot from him, did we? So yeah, another 5.
Okay.
Bless up.
Did you give Dom a grade?
I'll give him a 5 as well. And hi to Jimmy in the chat and Helio. Yeah, 5, bro. Not great.
Gosh.
The midfield for me was a letdown.
Chelsea is just knotted up 1-1.
Did you have
Man
to?
City won up. But for me, a draw there is pretty. It's a sound result all round.
It's a sound. I'd rather see a draw than a win.
I'd rather see a draw there as well. Yeah.
What you'd rather the Villa drew with Chelsea than beat them?
Yeah.
Because if they draw, they'll still be 2 points behind us. If they win, then they go above us because they have better goal differential. But if they lose, yeah, it helps us too because it'll be 3 points. But it'll be by Villa only getting a point from it, then it makes us be able to maybe catch Villa in third place.
United are playing tonight, aren't they, at Newcastle?
They are.
Newcastle United in about 5 minutes. 10 minutes.
I'm trying to get done so everyone can watch it.
So Newcastle win there will be sound.
Yeah.
Second, bro.
No, see, I don't worry. I'm trying to get done this so everyone can watch possibly United.
Oh, okay.
It's not at Old Trafford, by the way. It's at St. James Park. So
James is, and for me, a Newcastle win there and a draw in this game, Villa Chelsea. Then our loss isn't as bad as it could have been. That's how I'm looking at it.
It's not as bad as it could have been. It's opportunity lost. It will be opportunity lost.
Yeah. Simple as.
I'll say this guy, predictable, maybe. Blunt, also. Oh my goodness. Cody, I wanted you in on corner kicks as well, But if you're going to be in the mix, no goal line clearances for the opposition, okay? I gave Cody a 3.
You mean-spirited man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him a 4.
Okay. What'd you give him, JK? JK's on mute. I'll wait. We'll get Cody.
Cody, he was trying, bro. Because I went on Fozzie's at half time yesterday on his watch along. Bless up Fozzie and Nalante as well. And Quasi. And I said, Cody's the only guy who's trying at the front 3 or 4, whatever it was. So I'm going to give Cody a 5. And then I'm going to give him a 6.
Yeah. Jeez, Semenyo is lighting it up for Forest. Or for City. I'm all over the place with my teams. He is lighting it up this season for City. 1-0 Man City over Forest. That's pleasant to hear if you have him like I do in fantasy football. But other than that, it is what it is. All right. Eke TK. 4. I think he faded after some early shots. I'm glad to see he wasn't injured, to be honest with you, in that challenge that was put on him. Not even a challenge.
Yeah, he got a bit of rough treatment. They knew that he was the danger because, they knew Mo and Cozy are having great seasons, but they knew how Hugo's been playing well and been getting goals. They knew he was the danger and they marked him tightly, so tightly that, even before that guy tried to pull his shirt off his back for about 5 minutes before letting go. Someone else had already done it to him when he turned him and was trying to nip off.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember you mentioned that too, and I saw that too. I saw that. Yeah. It was on the sideline.
I give him a 5. He did one of the best moments was his step over, when he got to the line, put it in with his left. That was one of the best moments of the match.
JK. Mm-hmm.
I'll wait. Give him a 5.
5. Okay.
Not great, but yeah.
He's actually good defending from them that stopped that being an assist, because when he did that step over, put it in with his left foot, McAllister was waiting, wasn't he? But their defender slid in to block it. So he could have well had an assist there, couldn't he? it was one of the high points of the game. That anyway, well had that
Yeah.
fella off, like, didn't he? I love the way he moves. Boss watching a minute.
I'll give each one of us a player off the bench so you can have an individual ranking. So I'll go first. I'll do Rio. I gave a 6.5. I gave him a 6.5. I thought he brought energy off the bench. I thought he was good. I'll let you rate Gomez, and I'll let JK rate Jones. So what was your rating for Gomez, Lee?
How many minutes did he do, Joe?
Enough that I think it was enough to get a rating, but I'll double check for you. Joe got in at the 70. Yeah, he got in the 72nd minute.
Okay.
So he got 20 some minutes.
Yeah. Like the others are 5. Really, they were all much of a much. Like, none of them distinguished themselves really. Like,
Okay. Jones. You got Jones.
yeah, Jones played most of
Oh
them.
no, Jones is for JK. JK gets Jones. Cujo. Curtis. Bueller. JK. All right, I'll let you do it then, Lee. Go ahead. You can rate him. Villa up 2-1. Jimmy, big.
Like for me, Gomez wasn't great when he came on, bro. I'm gonna give him a 2.
No, you have Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones
as well. I'll give him a 3. Not great.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, Arne Slot, because I'm not case and I got like 10 minutes. Arne Slot. La. You can debate the number, but the point stands. Too reactive, not enough solutions, and a loss to a team that is unexcusable. No matter what you think about it, what you say about it, unexcusable. I gave Slot a 2. Lee, what would you want to give Arne Slot?
I'll give him 3.
Okay. That's what Jimmy gave him. What do you give him, JK?
For that first half, 0.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, 1. So I'll give him a 1. Because that first half for me dictated the score.
Mm-hmm.
You got 45 minutes, 47 minutes to go and destroy a team that's bottom of the league. And what do? You just stroll around like you're on the beach, Ibiza.
Yeah.
I can't forgive that. That first half there yesterday showed me everything I need to know about Arne Slot. I've not really been on his back, get him out of here and this, that, and the other. But for me, the mistakes we made for their 2 goals wasn't on Arne Slot, but that first half was on Arne Slot.
Mm.
So I'm blaming the players and the manager for yesterday's result. So I'm going to give him a 1, bro.
Okay.
You can't play at that speed against the bottom of the league table team. You know? They weren't attacking us. They had 2 attacks and scored from both.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right. Well, then, no team has ever conceded more last gasp winners than Liverpool this season. It's definitely a damning record to hold as our own. Arne Slot and his players are failing to control matches late on. We all know that. And it could cost us in the long run. So now we have the FA Cup. We have the rematch. It could be a referendum. It could be revenge, or it could be just embarrassing again. So do we come out fast and impose ourselves, or do we try to control our way into another tight game that involves chaos late? That's the big question.
I wanted to just answer Helio. Like, when you look at the 2 results, Helio, Villa, that's like a derby, because Wolverhampton to Birmingham is like 10 minutes down the road. And then you got Liverpool, who the manager of Wolves is an Evertonian. He's an Everton fan. So what's happened there is the managers kicked their ass and said, lads, we've got a derby coming up against Villa, and we're playing my worst team I don't like, Liverpool. He got them up for the game. And it's as simple as that. So if you gave me that job for yesterday's game to manage Liverpool, okay, totally different output, totally different score. Why? Because I'll be saying to the lads before the whistle blew, we're playing bottom of the league here, lads. We're champions. Let's show them who champions are and who's at the bottom of the table.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do that, bro. Their manager was celebrating like he just won the World Cup. Why? Because all his family are going to be on top of the moon. One, his team that he's working for won. And second, it's against Liverpool, the team that is probably family hate. Job done, bro. Common sense. This manager doesn't seem to have any. How do you rally up your team? You point at facts. This guy hasn't scored all season. Make sure you don't bloody score today. And what happened? The guy who scored their first goal hasn't scored all bloody season, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Come on. I just don't like this lackluster Liverpool display every game, man.
What do you feel? I know the Manchester United game
right?
just started. We're just starting off on the Manchester United game, so we're going to be ending here. But what is your choice? What is your choice out there on X, out there on YouTube? Please do tell us. We got Red Armchair Supporter, got Jimmy giving their answer to the question here. I guess I got Lee's answer to that one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Red Armchair Supporter says A, yes. Jimmy says A, yes. Man of the match. The man of the match for the
Yeah,
Wolves
we inspire
team.
opposition players. Mm-hmm.
I think the man of the match.
Yeah, we
was
probably beat them, but I'd rather beat them yesterday. Yeah.
I think the man of the match was Thomas Bramall. Thomas Bramall. He played. He had a heck of a match.
Tennis player.
Yeah, it's the referee.
I didn't know his name, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, who's that? Is
Yeah,
that Swedish
who is that?
looking
Where
guy
is
at
he
the back?
Yeah. He's like, where is he a defensive
He sounds
midfielder?
like a tennis player.
Yeah, it does.
Look, man, the referee tried to let the game flow, right? He weren't stopping everything, and fair play to him. But the thing was, he was doing more in favor of them than us. Simple as that.
That's what I don't like. I just like consistency. Repeat who your man of the match was yesterday, Hylor. I don't remember off the top of my head who your man of the match was. Man of the match for Red Armchair Supporter was Endo, just for not having anything to do with that. I got you. He said Rio was his man of the match. That's right. I guess if Rio had scored, I would have given him the man of the match. I wouldn't have minded giving him the man of the match. What did Rio get? He had I'm trying to think of how many minutes he had. He got 30. He got 25 minutes yesterday. It's tough to sometimes give a man unless I wouldn't mind. I don't mind giving people man of the match even though they didn't play the entire game. You know, I'm not against that, but if they're going to get man of the match for me, they have to have some heroic effort. And the shot was a great shot. It was also if he gets man of the match for that shot, then you might have to give man of the match to the goalkeeper, Sa, for making the save because he got his finger to
Top
the
save that was.
Yeah, it was a top save. He got his fingers to the ball and was able to push it wide.
That was going in. Mm-hmm.
It was going in. It was going in.
I wish You know what Haaland is great at? Haaland's the type of guy, as soon as they hit the post, he's there waiting for it to tap it in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's such a top striker. You understand what I mean, bro?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at a lot of Haaland goals, he can read the second ball. If he's not going to go in, he'll be there popping it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I
top
agree.
striker for me.
Red Armchair supporter saying Rio, although he did lose the ball at one stage and only jogged back, which annoyed him.
Oh,
There was a case when he got on early. When he got an early touch, and it was a miscommunication or whatever you want to call it. But he played the ball. I think it was supposed to be to Robbo, and it just and it went out of bounds, for a goal kick. And it was kind of like, you guys got put on because you're supposed to be on the same page. That kind of hurt. But I also liked the energy he brought. I liked the adrenaline surge that he brought to the team. I'm not disputing that.
but for me, the most important time, bro, he let that guy just run straight through us. He didn't even run after him.
Yeah. There's things that you do see why Cody is playing ahead of him. Cody is a better defensive player than Rio. Don't get it twisted. Cody is a better defensive player at this stage of his career than Rio is. Rio is exciting going forward. I'm not saying that. I think Rio is actually even more exciting than Cody going forward. But there's a reason why VVD was yelling at Rio when the ball was kind of puttering around. That's not what I wanted to end the show on. Chelsea 2-1 currently 2-1.
Yeah, Pedro, bro, smashing it.
Villa had gone 2-1 up. What was that?
No, disallowed, bro.
It was disallowed.
Right.
Disallowed.
I didn't know that. I'm still going on the notion that Villa were winning.
Yeah.
Could be offside, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be offside.
Yeah. You can maybe give Cody Gakpo the man of the match for them.
I'm telling you, bro, he was the only one looking for a goal in the first half, so I'm going to give it him. Yeah.
There was a funny meme that I saw with Cody in it. It was funny. I shared it with JK. I don't know if he remembers it or not. It was like, how they give the goal line, they show goal, and they'll have the silhouette, or they'll have the thing of the player. It had goal line clearance, and it had Cody's picture on it. I was like, oh man, I don't know what he was thinking. That's just poor stuff. Poor stuff. All right. I'm going to end the show, but I'm not going to end the show without a little bit of positivity, a little bit of moment of zen. So I'll let the guys say their piece once the moment of zen hits, because maybe that'll get them in the right state of mind for it all. And I think that they will share with me in wishing King Kenny a happy birthday. Happy birthday, King
Happy
Kenny.
birthday, Dagbeef.
Yes.
Oh, yes. The true king, not this pretender Charles and his stupid family. The true king, Kenneth Matheson Dalglish, and the Queen, Lady Marina. There's a king song called "She's Got a Hat Like Lady Marina's." But that's his wife's name, by the way, Marina. That lovely name.
You know when you watch Dalglish's football when he was manager, and you watch Arne Slot's football, different ball game, bro. Different ball game. Lee will tell you that.
Yeah. The only manager in English top flight.
One touch, bang bang.
The only manager in English top flight history to win the league while acting as a player manager. What a man, what a player, what a absolute gem for Liverpool.
Can you say that again, bro?
The only manager in English top flight history to win the league while acting as a player manager.
Oh, is that how they called it in America? Player.
What did he say?
Player manager, yeah.
Yeah, it's a player. This is
great the way he did it, right? It was sweet the way he did it, because Everton had won the league, just out of no, everything to come out of nowhere and suddenly won the league. Like, then Kenny's just come in and went, right, I'll put this right.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was the second league-winning team when Barnes, Beardsley, Houghton, and Gerrard to go with all the stuff we already had.
That's pretty incredible too. By the
Yeah,
way,
that was the best one for me, the best team, because the age it was, and we were just like flawless that season. We just blew everyone away. It was dead good to watch. Like
381 games in charge of our Reds, had 515 appearances. But what is wild and staggering is that he had 172 goals and 172 assists. That's pretty. That's pretty. I mean, the numbers alone are pretty incredible in itself.
Yeah,
but
he wasn't.
It's just the fact that he ended on the same number of goals and assists. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty
He was
impressive.
a great finisher, Kenny, and he was deadly, but he wasn't an out-and-out goal scorer. You would say he had so much more to his game. That's what made him the great player he was. There was just a lot more to his game.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually started in midfield in 85. Like, it's a shame that, like, you know, what happened. Like, Juventus, like, you know, if that game would have happened without that shit happening, I would have liked to have seen how we'd have done against them. Because that game never got a chance to have any life in it, like, you know, the fake pen for them that Platini scored and that. But I would have liked to see, because he was behind Walter and Rush. Yeah, they're good creative player.
Yeah.
That is it. The Rush, the one that's like shown a lot, like where Kenny gets it.
You realize
that ball that cuts the defender out for Rush. It's just
I was just adding up some things. Pretty wild. I'll bring up my did you realize point tomorrow. We'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the active games on the docket, which are currently 2-1 Chelsea over Villa. Man City 1-0 at halftime over Forest. We have 0-0 in the West Ham Fulham game. Brighton is down 1-0 to Arsenal, and at home, by the way. Brighton is at home. And Newcastle, Manchester United has just started off. We're in the 14th minute of that game. I'm going to let you guys go off and enjoy that game while we speak. But if you're there, just say happy birthday to the king. And also anyone else whose birthday it is, happy birthday to you too as well. I guess, no, he's not. I don't know. What is I'm surprised that JK hasn't told us his astrological sign. But all right.
He's a Pisces.
There you go. There you go.
He's a Pisces.
But there you go. Hey, if the result ends up the way we want to see it happen in the city, in the Man United game, then hey, we will be more than happy.
The more Liverpool fans who watch that, the more chance Newcastle have to win it. We don't even like none of these two teams, actually. You know what I mean? And hope Jeremy Jacquet, nice one for Julio for that information. Hope he gets better soon, man. Bad luck that is.
What happened?
Jeremy Jacquet, he's going to be out for about 6 months, he was saying.
Yeah, season-ending surgery for him. Yep. Yeah. Hopefully it won't be as long as.
Fingers crossed he's okay for, you know, in a few months' time. Like, yeah.
He's got a long time until next season, anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Red Armchair, we've got to do a show and call it Set Pieces.
Set pieces, exactly.
Set pieces.
All right. Well, let's get this set piece over to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, my brothers and sisters, up the Reds each and every time. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us.